it's good to see you, man. I was thinking the other day, I may have interview you more than anybody else on this show. In the 14 years I've been around, I think you take the cake. We've been on here a lot, so it's always good to catch up.
I'm not sure what that means, but I think it's positive for me.
It's very positive.
Okay.
It's a very huge accolade. So it's good. And I want to get into the Lee Summit Jazz Fest. You were in
Yeah.
it last year.
Yeah.
Horoscope is your new project this year. So before we dive into your experiences last year and this year, talk to me a little bit about Horoscope.
Okay. I was trying to remember how long it's been since we started the band. It's been around 20 years. Uh, it started at Jardine's, that venerable jazz club on Main that everybody remembers. And uh, I used to be able to go up to the owner, Mina, at any time and go, "Hey, I got this idea for a band. Can you plug me into the schedule?" And without even saying, blinking an eye, she'd go, "Sure." So, I mean, it was nice that she trusted me. I had another band called Stan Kessler's TV. You may remember that one,
Yeah.
TV things. Same thing happened. So we would play once every other month. It was originally the idea of the venerable keyboard player, Paul Smith. And Paul was the first keyboard player. So, it was just a matter of pulling together the tunes from the vast repertoire of Horace Silver, which is everything, the whole gamut of swing, samba, all kinds of Latin waltzes, ballads, you name it. It's all fantastic and fun to play.
Yeah.
So that's how that happened.
So talk to me a little. Last year, the first annual Lee Summit Jazz Fest, it was hot, but it was attended well. What was your experiences with it?
It was great. I mean, it was hot, but it's Kansas City in the summertime. What do you? It's going to be hot usually. Uh, yeah, it was great. I mean, it was well run. It was just everything was smoothly from one act to the next. And what's impressive to me is how quick the crews got each band ready in between. It's like there was no lag at all. Everything started on time, which is not easy, right?
Yeah.
Um, and like you said, well attended. Uh, it was a lot of fun. They had the room where you hang out,
Yeah.
that whatever that is, community center, whatever that, and it's fun to just hang out with the other bands, right, while you're waiting to play. So
Yeah.
it was well done. One of the better, uh, uh, more professionally run, I thought, festivals that I've done.
So was it a no-brainer to return this year?
Oh yeah. In fact, I was delighted that he asked me to come back because usually you don't go back to back. But they said we're the different band because last year was Sons of Brazil. So luckily, I have more than one band. So,
So, I mean, going into festivals, what's the mentality as a musician of how you choose? I mean, last year was the first annual. Obviously, it was a good experience. But how do you, as a musician, go into a festival and say, this makes sense, I'm doing it?
that's a good question. Uh, it. I'll probably never say no to a festival, but as far as going in, what do you do after that point? I try to program a set because we're like 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
That's boom, 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 where every song has a different feel and a different flavor, and you keep the audience guessing, and you keep the audience entertained because we have enough tunes to play, an 8-hour gig. So it's a matter of cherry picking the tunes I think are going to go over the best with the public.
So the one thing that to me I've thought about this last year being the first annual Lee Summit Jazz Fest. I mean, this is the home of Pat Metheny, one of the greatest exports that Kansas City has ever produced. Is it surprising that Lee Summit it's taken this long and to kind of christen it to I mean, how does that work for you with festivals?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, at this point on the road, it's been a long time since Pat was here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, unfortunately, Pat's sort of a distant memory. I don't think that it's not so much that. I think it's maybe just somebody had to pick up, the idea and decide to do it. You
Yeah.
know. I mean, it's not. Yeah, I don't know if it has anything really to do with being his home, because it's been a while since he's been here.
Yeah. But I think the one thing coming from my end of the microphone and looking at this, it's always good to see that Kansas City has new festivals. That
Yes.
there's festivals, there's gigs, and I think it's really a celebration of this art form that just continues to have this renaissance in Kansas City and
Uh,
continues to grow.
I agree, and we keep we have this influx of new players in town, and lots of uh, passionate young players as well as the older people like me. So there's a lot of musicians here that are worthy of being in a jazz festival. I would have to say I was delighted, excuse me, to find out that Lee Summit was doing this last year. Because, like you said, it's always good when another festival, and some of the festivals that used to happen are no longer going. So it's kind of a refresh, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have the Kansas City Jazz and Blues Festival anymore, which was a biggie, right?
Yeah.
So there's still a few going on, but yeah, it's always good to keep things fresh and have some new blood.
And the one thing that you do is you're really big, as we mentioned before we got on, going to Paseo and teaching the youth. You're really in the educational realm. Are you encouraged by the younger players and what's going on and how Kansas City continues to evolve as a jazz town?
I am, I am, and I'm doing it all the time. Like I said, I go to a lot of the area high schools and colleges too, and work with their bands and do clinics or master classes. Yeah, it's just it's a very burgeoning scene. I mean, these kids, I can't believe how well they play. Like when I was in high school, I couldn't, I didn't know what I was doing. But now there's this education, system. I mean, they have all the tools that we didn't have. So including the internet. So the teaching and the growing experience is accelerated, I think, because of the technology and because of uh, what I call the Jazz Education Industrial Complex.
Yeah.
Which, a little nod to Dwight Eisenhower there, for those of you who are old enough to know what that means. But yeah, it's easy. It's easier, I think, for them, and so it's. I think they're inspired by what's out there, and a lot of people their age. In fact, speaking of high school kids, I do the Kansas City Jazz Academy
Yeah.
at the Jazz Museum every Saturday. This Saturday, the Herbie Hancock Institute High School All Stars are going to be there
Okay.
they're playing at the Blue Room like from 5 to 7,
Okay.
and I'm my combo is going to be merging with those guys from 1 to 3 in the Blue Room to do a clinic.
Okay.
So that's another example of like, okay, we're getting some of the best high school kids in the country coming through here and doing clinics with high schools. It's awesome.
Yeah. That is amazing. So, what else is going on? We're hitting the warm months. This is a big time to get out and about. Other than the festival, what regular gigs, what's going on with your life?
Oh, regular gigs are most of them are indoors. I mean, there's still a couple of places where you have outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I used to do a lot of outdoor stuff, like on the Plaza Live gigs and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just gotten to be so hot. It's just hard on your. It's hard on your body.
Yeah.
But they have the usual places, and there's some new places gig wise. You still have the Blue Room and Westport Coffee House and the Majestic and the Chaz and Stock Hill, all these places that have live music. In fact, I think it's called Kansas City Jazz livejazz.com. They have the complete schedule. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
livejazzkc.com.
Yeah, I think people can go there and see what's going on around town. It's the most comprehensive schedule for local jazz. I really think that's where you ought to go. So,
And your latest album is Two's Company.
right.
So where's the best place for them to pick up that and anything else that you've done? Where can they get a copy?
Well, they can go to my website, which is stantonkessler.com, STANTON KESSLER.com, or Two's Company is available on Amazon and also iTunes. And anywhere you find me, I'll always have some in the car, you know, uh, and at gigs, my gigs. So I do have an email mailing list. So I do send out my schedule every month to people who want it.
And I love it and I get it. So, Lee Summit Jazz Festival, it's the second annual. It did really well last year at the Bridge Space. It's lsjazzfest.com is where you can get tickets. And it's actually, that's the thing about all these gigs. It's cheap. Early bird tickets, 2 for 30. Kids get in for 5. Are you kidding me? I mean, you can't even walk near Kauffman Stadium. You can maybe get your car parked for that.
I was going to say parking costs more than that, right? Yeah, it's the best bang for your buck in town.
Yeah. I mean, it's an all-day fest. It's everybody. Michael Pagan's going to be there. Brad Gregory, the Lee Summit Jazz Fest.
Adam Larson is headlining.
Absolutely, 100%. And Adam's tremendous. So, yeah, it's going to be a great fest. I'm looking forward to it. So it's great to catch up with you about it, Stan. It's always good to see you in living color.
Always good to see you, Joe. I'll see you at the gig.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right.
Have a great
so
day, man. Cheers.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Jazz fans, Joe Domino here, the host of the weekly Neon Jazz radio show and regular interview series being produced and distributed from Lee Summit, Missouri. We are very excited to let you know about the second annual Lee Summit Jazz Festival taking place again this summer on June 28th at the Bridge Space, located at 210 Southwest Market Street in downtown Lee Summit. Following the success of the 2024 festival, the lineup will include Lee Summit students, Casey Area Youth Jazz, Paganova with Michael Pagan, Horacescope with Stan Kessler, Brad Gregory, Adam Larson, and the Lee Summit Jazz Orchestra. There will also be food trucks and vendors to round out a day of celebration. Early bird tickets are 2 for $30, and all details can be found at lsjazzfest.com. We can't wait to see you there.